Welcome to the Friday Game Night Pick'em Show. Yes, it's technically Week 15, a.k.a. second round of the GHSA playoffs. Welcome, everyone, to the show as we're having fun today. Only four of us. Jeff Rowe is out. But meanwhile, the main characters are here.
Why is Seth?
Are we calling Jeff a supporting character?
Like
I was just saying hi to the audience. That's not meant to be like
Jeff is your biggest problem. Let's be honest. Your biggest problems are still here.
Yes.
Let's be real about this.
Yeah, your biggest
never goes
problem.
away. My biggest problems never go away.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Everything good? I'm glad Walker's here, by the way.
What's up? My
All good.
cortisol levels.
I
Isn't
was
that the stress
told.
hormone?
I was told that Black Friday was the day after Thanksgiving, which I believe is the 29th this year. But apparently Black Friday came 2 weeks early because, rough Friday night for a lot of the local schools in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought Black Friday was supposed to be a good thing, right? Like cheap deals and everything,
Yeah.
but
Is it a
not.
good thing, though? Like, does anybody here actually go shopping on
Nope.
Black Friday?
Why would you
No.
go shopping on Black
No.
Friday when you can just, with a
Proud.
touch of a button, have it sent to your front door?
Proud never Black Fridayer.
I've been once.
That's called
One
Cyber
time.
Monday. You want to go?
That's
Like,
right.
Cyber Monday is when you want to click the button on your phone.
I decided to do that one time, probably about 10 years ago. I'm good. Never again. Like,
Yeah.
But
no, nothing.
Women love it. And I think they love it more, especially my wife and her friends. They love it more because the camaraderie, I guess. They get to go hang out and drink their Starbucks and eat their Asiago bowls or whatever you call those.
I was about to say anybody. Asiago
and do the
bowls.
whole
I don't think
women
that's what that
thing.
is.
And
I'm pretty sure that's pronounced
smoothies.
acai.
Acai bowls. And do all that stuff and hang out and maybe buy
Acai,
one or
pronounced
two things. But then
Acai.
come home and get
Also, hi
online
from
and buy
bottom
the
left
rest.
corner, everybody.
So
Can we
Well, see,
isolate him saying whatever?
This gets us
however he
into a
pronounced that?
conversation that we can start on. We can actually do this.
let's do
Food
it.
court food. What's your favorite food court food? Because that's what I would be doing if I was in the mall on a Black Friday.
Well, it depends on the food court. I'm going to say Sparrow's Pizza slaps. I'll fight anybody on
Yes.
that.
Okay, all right.
Sparrow's
Look,
Pizza is
It,
delicious.
it also
Never had
it
it.
also
Never
slaps
had it.
something else. So I'm just saying. But yes, it's delicious.
Those
You
how
don't go
can
to like the Chinese little thing and get
I'm not a
the
Chinese
noodles
food
and
guy.
a couple of.
I'm not a Chinese.
If
food
I
Okay.
want to feel like crap and like go to sleep, yes.
Now I will
Yes.
say there's some place in the Mall of Georgia that does wings that aren't terrible. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head though.
It wouldn't be.
I'm a big food court
Wingstop, would
Chinese
it?
food guy. I'm
No,
big
but there
on
are some Chinese places. There's a Chinese place in Oakwood that I'm not going to lie has some of the best lemon pepper wings around. I'm going to leave it at that. They don't advertise with us, so I'm not going to name drop. But
But
there's
you
a-
could.
Side note,
There's a
Caleb
Chinese-
is a lemon pepper fiend.
I love
We need
lemon
to just,
pepper
like,
wings.
Drop
need to-
that
we
into
need-
the text message though, Caleb, because I'd
what
love
is-
to know
there's a-
that
there's
when
a,
I'm in town for Lanier
I wanna
Land.
know
That
this.
sounds like
I wanna know
perfect
this.
space.
a Chinese place in Oakwood.
I want
And
to
they've
also.
got great lemon pepper wings.
I want to pitch a concept to you
I
guys
love lemon
too.
pepper wings.
What do we think about instead of just cutting to my shot, I can make myself this teeny tiny little pip screen in the bottom for when I just comment on things. Or do you
I
think
don't hate that.
Or do you think I need a full shot?
I think you need the full shot.
My face doesn't.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, that works right there.
By the way,
That works.
we had the news when we came on for the first round of the playoffs about the retirement of Sid Maxwell. We've got another job opening now.
We do
in the
we
area.
do. Flowery Branch decided to go a different way, and Jason Tester out over in Flowery Branch, so that job is now open, and they'll be taking applications as of yesterday. So it's going to be interesting to see, what these two jobs, and we expect there's going to probably be more, maybe not in our area unless somebody just decides to leave. But these two jobs will be interesting hires.
Yeah, I was about to say, we don't just have two job openings. We've got two job openings at places that have had some success, not too unrecently. So it's going to be interesting to see where those two programs go.
Yeah, which coach is going to jump?
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing is what coaches jump at the opportunities, and is it anybody from our area that decides to jump at one of those opportunities? Anybody in this area knows the success of those two programs that they've had in the recent past. So, wouldn't surprise me if somebody from this area jumped at one of those jobs. And we're talking, in 2 or 3 weeks about another job opening in the area because that coach took one of these 2 jobs.
We call that a coaching carousel. And it could happen.
Jump on the merry-go-round.
It could happen. Hopefully, it won't be as many as the basketball coaching carousel was.
I was about to say we had a basketball one not too long ago.
Yeah, big old carousel.
Carousel 3 years ago was pretty interesting as well. 3 years ago, Niblett comes in, Heath Webb to Lumpkin. There were a lot of jobs that year.
I think, wasn't that the year that Ben Hall left and Jason Tester got the Flowery Branch job? Was that the same year?
I think so. And was that the year that Nolan?
Sean Pender?
That was the Sean Pender year
Sean
as well.
Pender to North Hall.
Travis
and then David
Nolan.
Bishop gets the AD job at Chestatee. Stuart Cunningham goes over to Chestatee. So, we did have a crazy carousel in 22. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, so the carousel will be interesting because, let's see, Dalton, Marietta are open as well. And I'm sure there's more.
There's 17 jobs open in the state right
17
now.
17 jobs. So, you look at those jobs and you say, okay, coordinator, head coach, who's going to move, top assistant coaches, who would jump there. I said it last week, but I think the 2 jobs that are open in our area, are good jobs for head coaches. Now, if they go in that direction, they go in that direction. Sometimes you get, an awesome offensive or defensive coordinator that's ready to jump up that's too good to turn down. So that'll be interesting to see how those 2 go, for sure.
That doesn't include the Kennesaw State job, which, by the way, you can apply for on Indeed.com. Did anybody else see that? You can apply for that job on Indeed right now.
That just shows you the BS of firing the guy that first year in the FBS and don't give him any time. And the one the one that set the whole program up, before they moved into the big
I just got to say leagues. That is a master class in how not to fire a coach. The way Kennesaw State went about that whole business, master class in how not to manage the jump to FBS and then a coaching change.
Yeah, okay, you what was he like 2-6, 2-7?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I had the big win over Liberty, as you said, but then they just said,
on
sorry.
National TV.
Yeah, sorry, you can't make it.
Hidden.
This is ridiculous. But so just watch that job on Indeed.com. Maybe we should go apply for it. That would be interesting.
I thought about it.
All right. Well, speaking of Black Friday, as Caleb said earlier, it was Black Friday for a lot of teams last week. We lost, 10?
11.
It was 11. 11 officially 11 teams. So we have 6 still remaining. That includes Lanier Christian playing for the Gap State title on Thursday over Johnson High School. Kickoff 6:30 if you want to go watch that game. And then we've got the 5 big ones on Friday of the Georgia High School Association. And, this week we're talking about all of them because we just have 5 to talk about. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like out of all the 5 GHSA teams on the schedule, I feel like North Hall, Upson-Lee, North Hall has the toughest task this week.
You want to throw Commerce Toombs in there? I know we'll get to that game, but I think Commerce might have the toughest task. But yeah, that North Hall Upson-Lee game,
best game maybe.
Yeah,
North Hall Upson-Lee possibly.
Man, that's what I was going to say.
I put that graphic up because I thought you were about to start talking about the North Hall game, and then you just proved me wrong.
I saw the graphic there, Seth, so I was getting ready to get into it.
Good job.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Walker. Someone's in my favor on this
well
one.
Well done. I do agree that I think North Hall Upson-Lee is probably the one of, if not the best game of the 5 that we've got on Friday. Of course, Jefferson Oconee is going to be interesting for a number of different reasons, rematch round 2. But North Hall Upson-Lee is a little bit interesting because of what North Hall did last week against Gilmer. They struggled, right, offensively. Couldn't really get anything going and had to rely on their defense and special teams to get through the first round over Gilmer. Upson-Lee a lot different offensively. I think that North Hall is going to have a little bit more opportunity to have success offensively. But the question is can they shake off that rust that never really seemed, Caleb, to get shook off Friday night at the Brickyard against Gilmer until that overtime period when they score the touchdown and then get the big 4th down stop. They're going to have to score points against Upson-Lee Friday night.
They are, and, I think we'll see, right? I mean, there's two ways that this kind of story could go for North Hall. It either goes that they had some rust with the bye week. They kind of shook it off. And, Bo, you were at that game. I thought North Hall's offense played a lot better in the second half than it did in the first half. But is the story now, hey, we had a lot of rust. We were playing a team that was taking the air out of the football. We've shook the rust off. We've got some momentum back, and now the offense is going to be a different story going into Upson-Lee. Or do you not ever get the rust shaken off? Sometimes you don't ever shake the rust off. Sometimes it's not sometimes it's not rust. It's engine damage. And I don't know which one this is for North Hall. I think only time can really tell us the answer to that question. And Upson-Lee is a tough opponent, so it's going to be a good test.
I got to say, when you look back at that game against Gilbert, you had 285, 290 yards of penalties. You had constant stoppage in this game by the officials. The officials took their time huddling up to talk about, certain penalty or certain play. There was a play on the sidelines where I think it was Cole and a defender came down with the ball, and they stood there and discussed it for a while to see if it was a catch or an interception. That turned out to be a catch. It was a big play for North Hall. So I'm chalking, some of that rust up to not being able to get in a rhythm offensively when you have that much stoppage on the field during that game. Now, I will say this. I feel like North Hall operates best when they have a consistent running game to go with a passing game. I didn't feel like they really sat into their rushing attack like normal. So that'll be interesting to see what they do. And really, Gilmer, they played very good defensively, but I felt like North Hall had some opportunities running the ball. They also had opportunities, especially that first drive, where they drove down inside the 30 and then just stalled out, went 4 and out actually, because they went for it on fourth down. So I could attribute some of the rust, but then I'm also contributing, the game flow that the officials did not let either team really get into.
Well, and this is also where, the injury to Alex Schliemann maybe comes into play a little bit, because North Hall had the 2-quarterback system. And the way it kind of worked for North Hall before was if the offense is kind of struggling, well, you can switch up the quarterback and see if somebody else has got the hot hand. And Schliemann is a little bit more of a drop-back passer. So maybe if the running game isn't going, maybe Schliemann's a little more comfortable just dropping back and throwing it 25 times a half in a way that maybe Smith-McGarvey not quite as comfortable. So maybe that did end up taking away a little bit from North Hall's ability to manufacture some rhythm in that game in a way they might have been able to otherwise, but you're not going to have Alex Schliemann this week, so I do think it's going to be important for them to find a way to get that running game going one way or the other.
I think this one will be a very, very interesting game. How much Brickyard Magic is left? Because I used a lot of it there late in the game. And I'm telling you, North Hall came about 4 inches from being eliminated with that field goal, and the way that transpired at the end. Gilmer sets up to kick the game-winning field goal, basically. Roughing the kicker happens. They get another kick. They bring the backup kicker in. And when the kid kicked the football, it really looked really good. And then it clanged off that left upright, just so close. But then Buddy Clark steps up in the overtime period, stops Gilmer from going in. And, of course, they have that touchdown. I think that was just it right there on screen. But, yes. So this week, it's all going to have to come together for him, Walker. Yeah, and it really boils down to, like you said, have to get a running game going. Upson-Lee, very good defensively, forced 27 turnovers this year, 74 tackles for loss. They get into the backfield extremely well. So the offensive line for North Hall not only has to, create running room for those running backs for the Trojans, they also have to keep Smith-McGarvey upright to allow him to throw the ball and try and stretch the field. So that's where I think this game is won and lost. Can North Hall's offensive line keep Upson-Lee out of the backfield and allow for their offense to move the ball down the field? That, I think, is the biggest key here. Yeah, and I like the way North Hall's offensive line's been playing here of late, and their defensive line. So we'll see how that game goes. That game, by the way, over on 94.5 FM, The Lake. All right, we're going to talk about all the games today, but let's go into the Commerce Toombs game, because you guys feel like this one is probably the toughest match of the night. I feel like the North Hall Upson-Lee is. What's your take on that game, guys?
Man, Toombs County, this is a brutal bracket draw for Commerce. I mean, Toombs County has been ranked number 1 by the media polls in 1A Division 1 basically from about week 3 on, almost unanimously. Their only loss the entire season was against Savannah Christian, who is the unanimous number 1 team in the private school rankings, which we all know they're in a different bracket. But Savannah Christian was in their region. So they lose, I think, a competitive game against Savannah Christian. And as a result, Toombs County, not a 1 seed, they're a 2 seed. And that means that Commerce all of a sudden has to go match up with them in the second round. This is about as brutal as it gets, Walker, for the Tigers.
Yeah, and it's a long drive too, right? I mean, Commerce to Toombs County is not a short trot down, and Toombs County's defense has been excellent all year. Slows down everybody. Commerce has a little bit of a different animal in the 3-headed monster of Huff, Wiggins, and Daniels. I know. But still, it's just such a tough thing to have to go on the road to the unanimous number 1 in the public schools of A Division 1. A team that just won 62-8 when Commerce had to survive last week over Bremen. That's why I think this is the toughest game, because of the opponent, where it is, and what that opponent did last week, while Commerce had to get a 4th down stop in the waning seconds inside the red zone to get the win. If Commerce can grind the game down and make this a low-scoring affair, I think they have a really good chance in this game, Bo. But if Toombs County comes out and puts up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, I just don't know how Commerce gets the ball with enough possessions.
I got to say, Jeff's not here today, but Jeff, in the lack of Jeff not being here, I'm going to give you a stat here. And
How about that? How about that? We got that now.
Yeah,
there we go.
There he is.
I created this whole thing. Didn't attach the audio layer to it. So
39 and 53. That's the Bulldogs' opponents this season. 39 and 53. So strength of schedule. I mean, I know we're just off the college football playoff latest rankings, and that has no bearing on the rankings for college football, obviously. But you look at this one here, strength of schedule definitely goes to Commerce. Commerce at 50 and 56, their opponents. And yes, you look at the triple-headed monster. Yes, Commerce had to survive last week. Toombs did not have to survive. They won 62-8. But what's Southwest making? What was their ranking? Did we know?
I don't think
had to be awful.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So Toombs was the 6th seed, so Southwest had to be the 27th seed.
Okay, so the 27th seed. There you have it. I'm not saying this is not going to be a tough out for Commerce, but it just kind of feels like to me that we've somewhat written Commerce off just a little bit in this game. I think they have a great shot of going down there with the offense that they have.
I do too.
I know it's going to be a tough game, very tough game for them, but it feels like to me that we don't have a lot of confidence that Commerce can go down and pull the upset. Obviously that's what it's going to be. I feel like they can. I feel like they have it in them. The only concern that I have is possibly the secondary for Commerce. That might be a small concern in this game. But I feel like their offense has enough to be in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't think that any of us think that Commerce can't win this game. It's just when you're comparing, like you said, the Upson-Lee North Hall game to this one, North Hall gets to play at home. Commerce has to go all the way to Toombs County against, again, the number one team in A Division 1. I think that's the biggest kicker here as to why I think Caleb and I are putting this game above Upson-Lee North Hall in terms of the toughest game because of the road trip and the opponent. No doubt that Commerce can win this game. They have the ability to run the ball on anybody. They've shown that. Mm-hmm. The question is, can they make this a low enough scoring game to where Toombs has to score on every single possession that they have? That's the biggest thing here. And like I said, if Toombs comes out, scores on their first 3 possessions, and it's 21-7 at the end of the first quarter, I just don't know if Commerce can get the ball enough down the stretch. And that's where I think this becomes a little bit of a harder matchup than necessarily North Hall, Upson-Lee.
And last thing I'll say regarding the strength of schedule argument, I know you threw out the number that Jeff got with the combined record of Toombs County's opponents. I think there's a little feast or famine going on there with strength of schedule, because I think Toombs County played a lot of bad teams. Now, they did to those bad teams what a good team is supposed to do, which is they blew them all out. But they also went to Rome.
Easy, Reese Davis.
They also went to Rome and beat Rome. And when they played Savannah Christian won 14-7.
But when did they beat Rome? Did they beat Rome when Rome didn't have a 100% healthy?
I don't know.
After the early season deals they had?
80% of Rome is better than 99% of 1A Division I. I know that. It's a 5A school that's very good. So I'm just saying, when you look at what Toombs County did, we've seen them play high-level competition and look very, very good doing so. So you can say what you want about the rest of their schedule. It might be bad, but when they went up against the big dogs, they looked every bit the part of a number 1 team in the state.
And I don't know that they faced the type of offense that Commerce is going to throw out there either. I just don't know that area of high school football very well. So I think that's going to provide some issues for Toombs. But like you said, Bo, the secondary for Commerce is going to have to slow down Toombs, because they're going to throw the ball and they're going to throw it all over the field. And if the score starts trickling up, if we're seeing about 8-15, 8-30, 28, 35 combined points on the board, I just don't know if Commerce can score enough.
Right. Well, you got to feel the game plan is going to be clock management. We saw that Gilmer do the same thing to North Hall last week. So if Commerce can put drives together, that's the big key. And the secondary play, that's also going to be key. All right, so some more games on the schedule here this week. I don't know, what do you want to jump to here, guys? You want to talk about the Luella at Cherokee Bluff game?
That sounds good.
It's an interesting one, because Luella hasn't really been that impressive this year, but then they go on the road and beat Westover, who was highly rated in the power ratings. So is that because maybe Westover was a bit overrated by the power ratings, or is that because Luella's playing really good football right now and it's all of a sudden dangerous? Walker, I really don't know what to make of that Luella team that's coming into Flowery Branch this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking up their schedule because, like you said, are they playing good football right now? And, I mean, you look at what they've done. They beat Cedar Grove by 10 points in the regular season finale. They beat Mount Zion this year. They beat Carver 18-13 to start the season.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, Walker, but wasn't Carver kind of struggling early in the year and then they kind of turned it around late? I'm not discrediting Luella's win.
But a team that we just talked about, Commerce, they only lost to Commerce by 10.
Yeah.
24-14. They kept the game low scoring. Cherokee Bluff likes to score points, likes to move the ball down the field with KT Thompson, with the running backs, with Brooks Bryan stretching the field. Luella's done a good job of holding teams down in points, and that makes this interesting for me, is that the defense for Luella is the best side of the football for them. I want to see what Cherokee Bluff can do against a team they haven't seen this year. We saw them really dominate Monroe area last week in a way that they were, didn't necessarily do the first go round. They shut Monroe area down offensively. They did what they wanted to do when the Bears were on offense. Can they do the same thing to Luella, a team that they are only going to, have 4 or 5 days to prep for? And a Luella team that's coming off of a massive upset, arguably the biggest of the opening weekend, with a 21-point underdog, winning that game by a point over Westover. That for me is interesting, is Cherokee Bluff's preparation and what they're able to do at home. And are they potentially looking ahead to a potential rematch for an 8-3A quote-unquote championship in the quarterfinals? You got to not look ahead because, at this point of the year, Caleb, it's win or go home.
Yeah, it is. I just think because of the unknowns with Luella, that makes this kind of an interesting game to me because I think out of all the games on our schedule that we've got this week, I think we're kind of collectively looking at this Cherokee Bluff-Luella game, and I think Cherokee Bluff's like a 17-point favorite or something like that, and I think we're kind of looking at it and going, well, Cherokee Bluff should win this game, and Luella's 5-5, and they pulled an upset in the first round, and good for them, but Cherokee Bluff. But if they're a sleeper team coming in there, we might be looking up at the scoreboard. While the second half of games are going on tonight, like, wait, is Luella winning this game right now? It could very well happen. I think this is the sleeper game on the schedule this weekend.
Well, like you just said, you look at the record 5-5, and you think, and we're all thinking that Bluff has a really good shot at winning this game. But if you go back to Luella's Westover game last week, it was 16-14 heading into the fourth quarter, and Westover leading that game. Luella scores 11 straight points in the fourth, or outscores them 11-0 in the fourth quarter to take that win. So they kept the game close the entire game, obviously, at 16-14 heading into the fourth quarter. So you can't really sleep on that, since the word is sleeper for Cherokee Bluff. You can't sleep on the fact that they're 5-5. What you need to be doing is worrying about what happened quarters 1 through 3 to be 16-14 and how close that was, and then what happened in the fourth quarter that allowed them to outscore Westover to win the game. So obviously there's going to be a lot of worry about exactly what Luella did, and we do know, did Luella peak too soon, and does Cherokee Bluff have enough in them to continue this track they're on? So I think it's going to be an interesting matchup, but I still feel, not to give a pick away, but I still feel like Bluff has the edge in this one.
Well, I feel like Cherokee Bluff's MO is to grind people down with their offensive line. They've done that pretty much all year. Take away the Jefferson game. They grind down opposing defenses with their physicality, their running game, and the ability to go play action. I think that if they stick to that, the fourth quarter kind of becomes Cherokee Bluff's quarter, which they've seen all year, is that they're really good in the fourth quarter. But like you said, Caleb, if this is 21-20 going to the fourth quarter, either team in front, I think you're in a coin flip, because Luella's proven that they can be a fourth quarter team as well. So I just don't know, what way this game will go. I think it's the sleeper game of the week. I think it's going to be arguably one of the best games of the week, just because the unknowns of Luella and what are they going to do to try and slow down Cherokee Bluff. That there's just so many unknowns that it just makes it really interesting to be ready to watch this one.
I'll say this, I think it could be a key player for Cherokee Bluff this week, and one that we don't ever talk about when we talk about Cherokee Bluff. We all know about Connor Griffin and Jackson Perkle, the running game, Brooks Bryant at quarterback. We always talk about KT Thompson, the effect he has on these games. But tell you, a player to watch for Cherokee Bluff is Malcolm Millsap. Is Malcolm Millsap making 2 or 3 big plays in this game? Because what we've seen as the season's worn on for Cherokee Bluff is that so much attention gets paid to that running game, and then you say, oh, well, that frees up KT Thompson. Well, if teams put too much attention on KT Thompson, all of a sudden, what we've seen late in the year, Malcolm Millsap's been making some big plays. He made a big play in that Monroe area game this past Friday. So, does Luella come in? Like you said, Walker, just 4 or 5 days of prep. They say, hey, running game and KT Thompson, and then all of a sudden Paul Millsap, Malcolm Millsap.
4 or 3.
I went Atlanta Hawks there for a second. Malcolm Millsap is running wide open down the field. Could be something to watch for.
It's okay. I called Justin Allen Jordan Allen in a story, so it's fine. It's good. It's good. So there's no doubt Tommy Jones' coaching staff will have their team ready to play in this game, and all stops now. What'd you say? Win or go home. That's what this is at this point. And this bracket's shaping up right now. This quadrant's shaping up. Can we get it in the next round?
We are 3 quarters of the way to having a full-on region tournament in the top left bracket
that's
of
right.
3A.
Region champion.
And that's why I said, that's something you have to, consider in this game is you're looking at the other side of the bracket in Jefferson, Oconee County. You played both. You split with them. Are the Bears thinking about the next round? I don't think so, knowing Tommy Jones and his staff, but we're talking about 15 to 17-year-old kids. That's going to be in the back of their minds, especially late in the game if they're up by a touchdown going to the fourth quarter. This Jefferson-Oconee County game, I would imagine somebody on the field might start thinking, okay, what's happening over there? Who are we going to face next week? Are we going to be going to Jefferson, or is Oconee coming to Yona Field? It's 15 to 17-year-old kids, guys.
Tommy Jones might need to tell the PA guy at Cherokee Bluff, no updates on the Jefferson-Oconee score unless we're up 2 touchdowns or more. No updates on the Jefferson-Oconee score over the loudspeaker.
I can tell you, Coach Jones would say, we're worried about us. So
yes,
that's exactly the message he's probably preaching at this moment. And speaking, nice segue of the Oconee County at Jefferson rematch here. And you said it, Walker. They, all these teams split, but you look at Oconee in the first game, they beat Jefferson. Can they do it again this time at Memorial Stadium?
Yeah, that's the big kicker here. Is this game's at Memorial Stadium, and the first game was in Watkinsville, and Jefferson had the game won before Oconee County did what they did. They scored in the last 20 seconds of the game, scored in overtime, and then got the big stop on Gavin Markey at the goal line on the 2-point conversion to try and force a second overtime. But what Jefferson did in that first game is they really showed how physical they can be, and they grinded down Oconee County. It was just Oconee County did the same thing to Jefferson in the fourth quarter. They finally grinded down Jefferson's offense, got the ball moving, made some big plays on both sides of the football, and won the game. And credit to Oconee for doing that. I think Jefferson, now that game is under their belt, they shook the rust off of the bye week in the first round. Easy win over Monroe. Got to rest the starters in the second half. I think that's a big thing where Oconee had to play all 4 quarters against Westside Augusta. This one's interesting in the fact of, does Jefferson come out too fast to start the game trying to get the revenge? And is Oconee the more level-headed team, Caleb? Or does Jefferson stay level-headed and just play their brand of football? Because, again, I said it with the Cherokee Bluff game. These are 14 to 17-year-old kids. Everybody on that Jefferson sideline in the red helmets is going to want to get revenge for the way the season ended. So is the emotion too much early to where Oconee just has to weather the storm, or can Jefferson continue that onslaught for 48 minutes? That's going to be the interesting part.
Well, the thing of it is I don't know how much differently this game realistically plays out from the first one, just because of how similar these two football teams are in the way they're constructed. Like this game, Ben Hall and Travis Nolan are coaches that are kind of cut from the same cloth in terms of what their football teams are. You look at everywhere those two coaches have been, and their football teams kind of do the same things effectively. They are very good running teams. Not that they can't throw, but they're very strong running teams. A lot of times you get a good amount of quarterback run in there. They're defensively really, really tough, especially against the run. I mean, this game is going to be like taking 2 concrete blocks on ropes, pulling them up apart, and dropping them and letting them hit and seeing which one cracks. I mean, this is good on good with teams that basically believe in doing the same things. And I tell you what, it's not going to be for the faint of heart. If you can't take a hit, you don't belong on the field in this game.
No. And Oconee's won the last – go ahead, Walker.
I was going to say, to that point, which coach pulls the chess pieces out first and tries to make the first big adjustment before the game starts, and which team, sticks with the original game plan? Because we talked about it with Cherokee Bluff Monroe last week. Chess match. This is a chess match, that's a lot more on the line, a quarterfinal berth now instead of a second round berth. And by the way, this was a 2-point game in overtime the first time around.
Absolutely. And Oconee's won the last 4 or 5 in this matchup. But the key here is both have won at home. This game shifts back to Memorial Stadium. We know how well Jefferson plays at Memorial Stadium. I think that gives them one up on this. But the chess match, yes, absolutely, because you have 2 really good lines of scrimmage going at each other, on both sides of the ball. So you can't talk about wearing each other down because you're just leaning on each other, at that point. So whatever move's going to be made in this one, whether it's through the air or on the ground, I have no idea.
Here's another thing to watch in relation to this whole 3A bracket. How does the Cherokee Bluff Luella game go in terms of how it plays out? Because does Cherokee Bluff hit some big plays early and they kind of cruise.
Well, they'll start sometime around 7:30. And
thank you, Seth.
They'll kick the,
there'll be a halftime.
Probably
some timeouts.
After about
thank you.
10-ish, they'll finish up.
Yeah, something like that.
You'll be waiting to
and
start
then
the
we'll have
scoreboard.
the Hardy Chevrolet scoreboard show.
So, does Cherokee Bluff kind of blow Luella out? Like, do they hit some big plays early, and maybe they can kind of coast through the second half in that ball game?
So an early finish is what you're saying,
right? Because if that happens, if you're Cherokee Bluff and Tommy Jones and that staff, I'm very happy to go let Jefferson and Oconee County beat the snot out of each other physically for 4 quarters.
Well, they're going to.
Plus maybe in overtime.
Yeah.
And let the winner be all beaten and banged and bruised up coming into the matchup next week. So that's another thing to watch for Friday night. How does the Cherokee Bluff Luella game play out? And if Cherokee Bluff doesn't have to grind it out and sweat it out with Luella, that could set them up well if Jefferson and Oconee County are throwing haymakers at each other all night, Walker.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing about it, we saw the coin flip yesterday for the 4A through 6A brackets. Bottom seed won the coin flip, which means Buford would host whoever they win next week if they are able to get past Lowndes, which I know we're going to talk about that game in a minute.
North Gwinnett.
Cherokee Bluff doesn't get that luxury. They're on the bottom part of the bracket, but the higher seed's going to host. So they're going to be looking at this game to figure out if they're going on the road or headed to Memorial Stadium next week if they're able to get past Luella. So that throws another wrinkle into this thing where, in years prior, Cherokee Bluff would host the game no matter what, more than likely, based on how the bracket's set up, because they would likely be number one seeds if they were in the same quadrant. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't be in the same quadrant.
Well, here's the thing when you talk about, what's going to give you the momentum, what's going to give you the edge. So you've got Oconee beating Jefferson in the regular season, but really that didn't hurt Jefferson. It didn't hurt Jefferson at all because they still won the region. They're still the number one seed in the tournament, correct? What it did hurt was, although that Oconee did win, they lost a tiebreaker in that, by the way, and finished third in that region. Is that more motivation to Oconee than Jefferson's motivation that Oconee beat them in overtime in this game in the playoffs?
I mean, maybe, but, Oconee lost to Cherokee Bluff. I mean, they had the opportunities to win that game too. So it's not so much of, I think Oconee County, wanting revenge for not getting the one seed because they beat the number one seed. It's more so they weren't able to take care of business when they needed to avoid those tiebreakers. That's the way I look at it.
There is so much clanging and banging around back there behind those computer screens. Every time I look up, something's falling.
They had to throw something's
away. Getting knocked around. Seth, what's happening back there?
You should have left your pip on the screen. Not your pimp. Your pip.
How about that?
We're really trying to get this live show thing shut down, aren't we?
Yeah. You guys are working on this.
All right, let's move to
the thing is, if you guys get the video stuff, you're fine. You write crap and do radio. What am I going to do?
Sit there.
Yeah. I'll just be
hopefully quietly.
You want quiet? I'll show you quiet, Caleb.
Oh, you're done.
I'll show you quiet.
Is this thing still on?
Yours is.
Oh, okay. All right, so the next game we're going to talk about is a game that Caleb was kind of seeing 2 or 3 weeks ago and was like, I hope it happens. Well, it's happening. Buford is hosting Lowndes County at Tom Ryden Stadium, and this is an interesting matchup, so I want to give the floor to Caleb because he's been excited about this matchup. Caleb, what makes this matchup so exciting other than it's Buford in Lowndes County?
Is my mic on?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Andy's back.
Yeah, you're
good. I just think it's going to be a good game. Walker, your thoughts.
All right.
Andy's back.
All right. You're good. You're good.
Right.
And no, you're not.
No.
All right. This isn't Jeff Hart here. Come on. Now.
I can head out. I got a Publix pickup order waiting on me.
He's got a hot honey sub ready to go.
Hot honey tender sub to go pick up. So,
ooh, that sounds good.
It is good. No, I think it's going to be a really good game, and I think that Lowndes comes out of that South Georgia region. they played some really good opponents there with Colquitt County and Valdosta and Camden County. So I think this is going to be a really fun matchup. And what a way, it's just going to be a great playoff bracket in general. It's like I said, this right side of the bracket is insane. You've got Buford Lowndes. Winner probably gets North Gwinnett. And then the winner, by the way, up on the top half of the bracket, you've got a game going on between Carrollton and Valdosta that I think is going to be great. Yeah. So this whole side of the bracket is going to be fun. Obviously, locally, for our purposes, rooting for Buford to get through because it provides us to get the opportunity to cover more of these great matchups going down the line. By the way, we did the whole feature about Tom Ryden Stadium closing down. Buford won the coin flip. Yep. So if they get North Gwinnett, man, how fun would it be to have a Buford-North Gwinnett game as a part of the farewell tour for Tom Ryden Stadium, reviving that old rivalry. So,
speaking of that tour, catch our video that we did featured on the big screen over at Buford. I was about to say,
Friday. If you go to Buford this week and you haven't seen that video, you'll probably get a chance to see it, depending on how early you get into the stadium. But, no, I think it's going to be a great environment Friday night, and I think it's going to be a really good ball game as well. Buford looks like they're starting to play their best ball at the right time right now, Walker.
Yeah, they're running the ball. They're so physical up front, and I think that's the biggest thing right now in the favor of Buford is I know that we're talking about having played Valdosta and Colquitt County and all those teams down in South Georgia for Lowndes, but have they seen a team as physical as Buford is going to be on the front line offensively and how they run the football with their shoulder pads first? And then, oh, by the way, Dayton Raiola is getting better and better throwing the football every single week. He threw it 14 times last week, completed 9 passes for almost 230 yards. I mean, that's efficiency at its best. And so with that running game that Buford is able to go out there with, it allows Raiola to have play action opportunities. And, oh, by the way, the defense makes plays too. So can Lowndes figure out how to slow down the physicality of Buford and make Buford kind of get out of what they want to do and throw the ball more, I think is the key for Lowndes to be able to have a chance in this one. But if Buford Bo runs the football like they have been, good luck stopping Buford. And I can't wait to see the Bulldogs come into Tom Ryden next week if that's how it ends up shaking out.
I can't wait to see how the defense performs. They're giving up like 10 points a game. For Buford. So they're coming up against an offense that can score. So this will be interesting to see how they match up with each other. But everything you just said about the rushing attack, the out-physical teams, they will be that on Friday night. And it's going to be jacked up anyway because Lowndes coming to town. But the interesting fact is, what can the Buford defense do? They've been lights out most of the season against an offense that can score. That's going to be fun for me, although I won't be able to watch the game, to see how that kind of transpires in this game. But, again, Tom Ryden, the historical machine that it's been and the insane playoff record that this stadium has.
72-6 is Buford's record in home playoff games.
Absolutely.
In that stadium.
And who wants to come to Tom Ryden Stadium? I mean, that's like, wow. So this one's going to be another a game that it will be fun to watch for sure. But I think in the end, the Big Green Machine probably – rolls on. Not to give away a pick, but there it is.
I mean, but to definitely give away a pick.
There it is.
I think we get to see the Gloryland video a couple more times at Tom Ryden Stadium, including Friday night.
Absolutely. And that game on AM 550. Check it out. All right, guys, speaking of picks, let's get on into them. You want to?
Do it. No commercial break.
No commercial break.
No breaks.
Let's roll with the picks. You ready, Seth?
Yes.
And action. There it is. All right.
We are brought to you commercial-free.
Commercial-free today.
As we are every week.
Every week. All right,
but break-free this week.
Hopefully not so long. Hopefully not long.
So Seth, Walker, Caleb, and myself, the pick order. There it is.
Seth, you
Walker,
pick first. It'll be very easy to remember this
time.
So
Seth, ready, set, Lanier Christian Academy versus Cherokee Christian the Gap's state championship game. Thursday, 6:30, Johnson High School. What you got?
Firstly, I very much so appreciate you drawing that out so long for me to hit all my buttons over here.
Sounds like an acceptance speech. Go ahead.
I appreciate you very much. What I don't appreciate is just all the other stuff.
Yeah.
We'd appreciate a pick.
Yeah, we would.
I'm going to mute your mic again.
That's what we went to you for, is a pick. This one's easy.
Linear Christian.
There you go.
Linear Christian.
Yeah, I'm taking LCA as well.
Yeah.
I think I'm supposed to pick second, right?
Oh, sorry,
That's
you are.
fine.
I messed that up. That's my bad.
Yeah, I'm taking LCA as well. Okay, Lowndes at Buford.
Jeff took LCA as well. Jeff has his picks already.
Oh, Jeff has his picks. That a boy.
I'll give Jeff's picks when I put mine in. So.
Okay.
You know
There we
what
go.
my
That's
favorite
better.
part of this week is?
What?
Dark Horse Dogs. I think we have 7 total picks in Dark Horse Dogs.
Yeah.
And Jeff, by virtue of not being here, defaults to last. So he gets the 5th pick of 7 games. Awesome. Just awesome.
Way
Six
to go,
games.
Jeff.
Only 6.
6. Yeah.
You only have 6 listed.
He has a
so
whopping
he's going to
2
get to
games
choose
to
A
choose
or
from.
B.
Lowndes at Buford. Who you got? Seth?
Trying to find where to put that pip screen. Give me Buford.
I'm just
Jeff takes Buford. I'm going to take Buford as well.
Buford.
I got Buford.
Buford. Give me Buford. Luella at Cherokee Bluff. Action. Seth. Hello, Seth.
Give me Bluff.
Jeff takes the Bears. I take the Bears.
I got Cherokee Bluff also.
Yeah, I'll take the Bears. Oconee County at Jefferson. Do you have your hat, Walker?
Anybody?
I almost brought it today, but with everything else going on offline, I forgot it at home.
What else is happening offline, Walker?
Yeah. Yeah.
Visit
It
to
has
the
nothing
local
to do with the
dealership.
Oconee County faithful on Twitter. So,
He's been advised by his lawyers not to comment on the matter.
Say his life's at an intersection right now. Okay, go. Oconee
that's a good one.
Oconee County at Jefferson. Who you got, Seth?
Man, this one,
Is easy.
yeah, give me Jefferson.
Talked him into it.
Is anybody taking Oconee to pull the sweep?
Anybody?
Surely not Walker McCreary.
I
If
think
this
for
game
this
was
one,
in Watkinsville, I would be
yeah.
more tempted. But it's at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, Walker, I'm coming down here
played
with you.
so well at home.
I agree.
I think this game's close again, but I don't know that Oconee has the ability to overcome Memorial Stadium.
That's what I agree with as well. 100%. I think if this game once again is at Oconee, it might throw a wrench in some things, but Memorial Stadium, Jefferson, arguably looking for some revenge from last time. I think it's one of those, just not today, like not again.
What was that?
You know that.
You know you
I'm
made
outta
your pick
here.
already.
Oh,
I'm
the
just saying.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Yes, thank you. Why
Rest in peace.
do you
Oh,
make
yes.
me
Rest
feel
in
like
peace.
I'm crazy?
Oh,
every
you did the
time?
finger wag? I didn't see the finger
Oh
wag.
yeah,
You
you
did
did
the finger wag. I
below
saw
the
it.
screen. My
Oh,
bad. I did it below the
okay,
screen.
Okay.
Rest
yeah.
in peace, Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah, amen to that.
I got Jefferson.
I got Jefferson. Upson-Lee at North Hall. Woohoo!
At the Brickyard, do we get some more of that Brickyard magic? Let's do it. Brickyard magic for the win. North Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeff's taking North Hall as well. I think Smith McGarvey gets the rust shaken off in this one. I think North Hall's offense comes back to life. They score a lot of points in this one. I think they overcome Upson-Lee's defense and win this game. Trojans by a couple touchdowns.
I am going to go with Upson-Lee in this one. Are they a 12?
Ooh.
I think 12
Yeah.
point favorite. I think they are on the road, or a 9-point favorite maybe.
They are
a 6-point favorite.
6-point favorite. 6-point favorite. I will take Upson-Lee. I don't know if I'll take him with the points, but I'll take him outright. Oh, your turn.
I'm going to go Caleb. I got Upson-Lee in this one.
Interesting.
Commerce at Toombs. Wonder why they spell it with 2 O's.
Because otherwise it would be Toombs.
That is correct.
There's a
To
B
Caleb's
in there,
point,
so
I'll
it
get
would
up here
still
with
be
him.
Toomb.
Both seems to like this stick of me moving.
I guess that's true. I
T-O-M-B
guess that's
is
true. It
Toomb.
still would
Yeah.
be. It still would be Toomb.
But
Yeah, true.
I'm glad
I'm just
you.
sitting here letting you make yourself know not how to spell.
Do we really have room to talk here in North Georgia, though? Because we've got a school nearby that spells dogs with 2 G's.
Yes, that's true.
So,
D-O-double-G, baby.
Seth Chapman.
Yes. I'm very also glad you enjoy the little pip moving around like I have been doing, Bo. You seem to like that.
Did you say
funny.
pip?
Pip, yeah. Pip screen. Picture in picture.
I'm so happy you said that. I was about to ask you.
I know you were.
Even though I knew what it meant.
Yeah.
But I knew you would answer it.
See, here's the thing. You do
there
that all
it
the
is.
time. You
I
do it
know.
all the time. Ask me questions, you know the answer
Who
to.
you picking? You picking Toombs?
I think I'm going to have to. I'm going with Toombs.
I am
With
going
two
to
O's.
call the upset in this game. I think Commerce and the triple-headed monster of Daniels, Wiggins, and Huff get things going, make this game low scoring. I think Commerce wins. By the way, Jeff also takes Toombs.
I've got Toombs County.
I got 2 words for you. 2 words. Go Tigers!
I knew it was coming.
There it is.
I knew it was
Okay.
coming.
All right, that's it on the rundown. I know you're probably disappointed there's not more picks, but roll the dark horse dogs. Dog screen.
Horse dog. Dark
Do it again.
Dark.
Do it again.
Dark.
Do it again.
Dark.
One more time.
Dark.
One more time. Louder.
Dark.
Do it again.
Horse. Dark. Horse dogs.
Never
Dogs.
The
Never
problem
re-record
with this, the problem with this is that,
One more time.
I'm gonna. Oh,
Dark. Horse dogs. Dogs.
give us a little music
So-
in the background.
so fun.
It is so fun.
fun.
But the thing now, since Bo doesn't like how he sounds in it, he's just gonna keep doing that. Do it again. Do it again. So I just have to sit here. And,
Eventually
just
you'll change it,
Spam
maybe.
the button. No,
Never change it.
Worth it.
Never change
Worth
it.
it. It is worth the arthritis I'll get in this finger from hitting that button so many times.
Maybe
I'll start hitting it with a
the
different
rules
finger.
a little bit next year, just to
Oh,
pull
man.
back the curtain. We actually got the Super Dog
left that one
official
alone.
rules from College Game Day, so
Yes.
we'll adjust the rules a little bit to make it not as lopsided as it was in the regular season. Just an FYI for those that are watching and interested in this segment. It'll be a little bit more player friendly and not the massive numbers that everybody got or that Jeff got early in the season.
Well, Seth, myself, Caleb, and Walker. There's your picks.
I have to
Is that
go
the
last.
order
Dang.
too? Is that the correct order?
That is the
Yes,
order.
it is.
Ooh, so I get to go first?
You
Yeah.
do.
You
How
get
about
to
that?
go first.
First twice. You know what?
What?
This music hasn't ever been this loud enough for me to catch this portion of it. It's kind of jammy. Give me Oconee +9.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Give me Commerce +26. I'm looking to hit a grand slam here. I picked Commerce to
By
win.
the way, I was
Come
the only
on,
one who
son.
scored points last week.
Yeah,
so I'm ahead
nobody.
4
That's
to
why
0.
I didn't mention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Give Walker a
Thanks,
round.
Thank you. Thank you.
So who is next?
You.
I think you're next.
I am going to go. I picked Upson-Lee.
But you're going to go with North Hall +6. 'Cause
No, I'm going to go with actually Luella +13 at Cherokee Bluff.
Thank you for leaving me North Hall +6.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate that. So now, just again, Jeff gonna pick last. He's stuck to either Cherokee Christian +9 or Lowndes +17.
You know, next week we probably should add more teams.
Yeah, add more to the rundown too. I mean, even if everybody advances, I mean that would only give us 5 games to pick next week. Let's add some other fun matches.
I'm happy I came up with that idea at the end of the show. Yeah.
Oh, well. All right.
Roll our music. Let's get out of here. Caleb's got to get down to Publix in 15 minutes. He has a hot honey tender sandwich with bacon and fried pickles.
We got to be real. He'll make that no sweat.
yeah.
He'll make that no sweat.
It's going to be so tasty.
So tasty.
So tasty.
There will be some sweat from the hot honey, but not.
Do you have chips with it or just the sandwich?
No, just I don't need it. Just
Do you
sandwich.
get the foot long or do you get the
No, the half.
half? Okay.
I mean, with a chicken tender sub.
You
I
tried
mean,
to lay that trap for me, and I did not fall for it.
But hey, look, I was just asking a question. Like they ask you there. Of course, they ask you a full or a half at Publix, right?
Yeah.
That's the official.
Yeah.
That's only at Subway you get the foot long. All right, we've got a full tailgate show, right?
We do have a full tailgate show. So
Can't
we'll
wait for it.
preview all the games and walk you right up to kickoff. And then the Hardy Chevrolet scoreboard show after with me and Walker. Probably the last Hardy Chevrolet scoreboard show of the season.
That's
Could
sad.
be.
We'll make it a little bracketology style because
Yeah.
only 5 games for us to, look at the scores for. So we're going to look at a lot of matchups and fun matchups that there'll be next week in the quarterfinals.
You see the correct radio games on your screen right now.
I knew you'd do that. I knew you'd call attention to that.
That's where we are.
To be
this
fair,
week.
You can read them, my lord.
I was not concerned with that portion of the banner there for the first couple of weeks we had the banner. So
But you
it never
got it.
changed. It was
You
always
got it.
week
Give
10.
yourself a round of applause.
I
You're
don't
gonna have
want
to get
to.
your,
Okay.
you're gonna
All
have
right,
to
fine,
touch
good.
your nose to
Look,
your phone screen
listen,
to be able to read them, but
that-
they're there.
This encourages people to watch this thing on a TV.
Okay, fine. Buford at Lowndes, AM 550. Oconee at Jefferson,
You should know 'em
102.9.
anyway, Bo.
And over on 94.5 the Lake, Upson-Lee at North Hall. Enjoy that coverage. Also, check us out on X at Friday Game Night. And don't forget to go to accesswdun.com. It's Friday Game Night page to check out stories, highlights, photos, much, much more. That's coming up this Friday for the entire crew. Enjoy the second round of the Class A through 6A playoffs.
All right.
Get out of here.
Gaps
Bye.
Championship.
Go.
Gaps Championship
Gaps
too.
Championship Thursday.
Thursday, we will
Bye-bye.
have highlights.
Bye.
Bye.
Get out of here. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.